Tibia is divided on a server basis. On top of that, it's also divided by green or yellow battleized status, and additionally, there is also the location of the server and its PvP type. All of these influences how you play the game, and unfortunately, it is necessary to have a feature to migrate to the different server for a lot of reasons, and that's where the character world transfers comes in, and I will explain how it works on this video, starting with explaining why there is two of them, the regular and the express. Regardless of which one you use, at the next server save, if done the steps properly, you will move to the server you chose. However, when you use a normal world transfer, that character it was used on goes on a cooldown of 6 months. During this time, the character cannot be moved to another server using the regular version. Instead, you will have to get the express world transfer in this case, which is double the price. This is important to be aware of, especially when buying a character through the bazaar, because that 6-month period is attached to the characters, so look at the page and see if a regular world transfer is available, because if not, then be aware you will have to spend more to move it to the server you want. Next up is the limitations of where you can move to. First of all, the BattleEye status. Green servers can only receive characters from other green servers, and yellows can receive from both green and yellow. To explain this briefly, BattleEye is a third-party anti-cheat, which was introduced in 2017 to prevent the massive use of bots and other programs. Any server added after 2017 started with the BattleEye enabled from day one and are labeled with the green status, and the yellow servers are all of those that existed before 2017, which still uses the anti-cheat software now, but that was added after years of being without it. And a simpler way to think about the difference of the BattleEye servers is that yellow are the older servers with more population and options, and green are the newer ones with less players. Next up in terms of limitations is the PvP type. The simpler way to think about it is that you can only transfer to the same difficulty of PvP or lower. So starting at a retro hardcore, which is the most difficult type, you could transfer to any server you want, and ending at optional PvP, which is no PvP, where you can transfer upwards and the only options will be another no PvP server. And there is also a unique server type, which is the experimental worlds. These are a failed project of Systop, where the goal was to try out different ideas on these servers with real players, and that started with a base experience rate higher than normal servers, and later on was reverted and abandoned. It's been a long time since they last did any sort of experiment on these worlds, but because the XP rate was different from the start, characters on those servers can only stay there. So be aware of that and stay away from Suna or Sunera. And now for the last limitation for transfers is blocked servers. This is only relevant for green BattleEye servers. As I said before, they are the newer servers that continue to get new releases every 3 months or so. And each time a new server is released, it will be blocked from incoming transfers for an unknown period of time, that on average stays for around 2 years. Otherwise, the concept of a new server will be ruined by all characters moving over. Although there is technical new servers that have been created with that purpose, such as the recent Oceania server Oceanis, which was added with the idea of allowing players from the region to transfer to a server closer to their location. And other servers in the past, mostly Brazilians, have been released to allow more options to move and lessen the burden of some overcrowded servers over there. And speaking of regions, there is no problem with moving characters from different regions, but it's highly recommended to move to a server in your region to have better ping. Lastly, although not an actual limitation for the developers, I must warn you that there are servers where the players themselves impose their own rules for transferring over, but that is unique server to server basis, as it depends on the kind of leading guild it has, and usually it only affects higher level characters, but honestly it's all over the place with how bad it can get. And normally, green servers are less strict and annoying as they already have a low player base to begin with. So please try asking around in the official forum or in Reddit, even in this comment section, to find out which servers are welcoming new players. Moving away from that, let's get to the steps in game for the transfer. First of all, is to purchase the appropriate world transfer you need as explained before. Once you have that, then an option where you will see the price change to a configure button. Click on that and it will do a check on some other in-game limitations, such as not having any PvP skill active, owning a house, being a guild leader, or having active actions in the market. All of these must be taken care of before you are able to transfer. Once you deal with that, then from any vault go to Trabora. Here you will be in a special vault where you have access to the NPC Sharon, which more or less explains everything you need to know. There is also a depot and another NPC that takes you back to the cities, but if you're ready to go, then say hi, check yes to Sharon, and then you get teleported to this platform. If by any reason you change your mind about transferring that day, you can still leave through this plane here. Otherwise, remain logged out, and at the next server save, you will appear on your temple of residency in the new server. There is no limit on the amount of items you can bring. Your mailbox, teapots, bank balance, and backpacks will be transferred exactly as they are. This is why a common use of the world transfers is to move items around to different markets. And because of this option, most things are able to stay on similar prices. For example, Tibia coins. If the coins get too cheap or expensive in one server, it incentivizes people to trade there and move somewhere else, keeping the market somewhat controlled by supply and demand. Same thing goes with items. If they are not available in your server or if they are too expensive, people tend to buy them somewhere else and the cost of the transfer ends up evening it out. If the prices exceed the 750 TC range, there will be room for someone to profit. But the main use for the transfers is to seek out a better server to play on or possibly to join a group. Lastly, although a rare case, if you transfer to a server a few months before it gets merged, then you will receive a free voucher to transfer off the merged server. This rarely happens, but when it does, it's mostly on green servers. Like for these new upcoming merged servers, those that transfer before the announcement should receive a voucher. And you need to be aware that if you had that, you won't be able to put the character in Bazaar. Instead, will be needed to contact CISO support through a ticket and request for the removal of that free transfer voucher. Otherwise, the voucher remains linked to the character until use, and it will trigger the 6-month cooldown to use a regular transfer afterwards, so keep that in mind. And that's all I got for this video. If you still have any questions about world transfers, please comment down below, and I'll try my best to answer. Thank you for watching, and a special thanks to the Guild Causality of Pulsera, to Nightstar and to Nahiro for supporting the channel.